On to race number 5 and the 5th on the programme. On the first day back is a Class 4. It's over the 1,200 metres, headed by All You Need, a two-time course and distance winner, Richard Gibson and Neil Callan combined. Romantic Bonanza, a Griffin winner from last season. Flying Lover likes to roll forward. He's got Barrier 5. King Opie, run up on his final start at the back end of last year. Peace and Prosperity, a 3-time winner at Happy Valley. The Full Bloom goes back up in class for a win on the last day for him as well. Money Marshall, Harbour Century, Glorium, all made, and Super Euro Star likes to roll as well. He's come up with Barrier 6. And as far as Chung Fa is concerned, we have another horse travelling down, and that is the Full Bloom. So from mid-July to towards the end of August, the Full Bloom had a freshen up there as well. For Dennis Yip and Berta Rispoli will be in the saddle.
It's been mentioned prominently in this show many a times, the Full Bloom, a last start winner. Pace potentially good. Super Euro Star down near a low barrier and a lightweight. Should kick through, find the front potentially. Flying Lover's got good speed. King Opie will be searching for a front spot. Harbour Century led in a trial, but he might drop in according to his race pattern. Romantic Bonanza's the interesting one for me. He box-seated right behind the lead as a Griffin when he won. Disappointing at his last start, obviously.
This horse won at massive odds last season, but his runs subsequent haven't been too bad, and his track work suggests that he has got some ability, Smart Charade, so that's him there in his track work. The Creative's one that, again, has been a bit of a morning glory. Well, all the work has been pretty good, but he hasn't really produced on the racetrack yet. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. There is a stable change there. John Moore's got him now from Barrier 11. And Peace of Prosperity has changed stables now with Jimmy Ting, and I thought it was a really nice gallop from him down the back straight. He's put on 15 pounds. I think it's a good thing for this horse. I wouldn't be surprised he ran a bit of a race, although all his form has been at Happy Valley. It'll be interesting to see how he goes with the new stable. And speaking of new stables, here's Harbour Century. Now he's now with Tony Millard. Blinkers on a race day with him, which he did run last time. He's only had limited starts, but Tony Millard seems to have got him going along quite nicely as well. All right, not a bad run at the back end of last season as well. For the 6-up players, 1.3 jackpot, so an estimated dividend in the region of $4 million. This is the first leg, and again, we'll try and narrow it down for you. Starting off with All You Need, Richard Gibson and Neil Callan. He'd won. Then he backed it up with this effort, again, with the mud flying.
He did, and Richard had the option here of going to the bottom of 3 with a lightweight or keeping him at the top of 4 with a heavyweight due to his rating of 60. He's gone this way again. He ran 3rd behind Regency Darling. He was in good form at the end of last season, and he had some torrid runs. The speed map suggested he's a chance of being caught wide again with a big weight to carry. So maybe that gives him or makes him a little bit risky on a win line, but he's got a good solid heart and he tries and gives 100%, so I'm going to sneak him in on a minor line. Yeah,
I have as well. He's a horse that can carry weight, and that's probably why they're thinking, because he has won off 131, so he doesn't mind. He's sort of the horse that can carry it, OK?
All right. Now, as far as last season's Griffins are concerned, we have to look at Romantic Bonanza here. Now, he did have a run after this, finished last, but had an excuse. But this is what he could do on form.
It's interesting that the handicappers have given him a rating of 57 following his Griffin days, which is, I think, a reasonable little sort of handicap for him. Supermodel obviously had a few breathing issues, and maybe that enhanced his performance here final stages, but I like him as a type. Savabill's handle the wet. We're probably going to have a little bit of cushion in the track. His recent trial looked average, but it was against some really good horses, and he was cluttered up a little bit in traffic. And I don't think he really appreciates that as a young horse. So if he can sit handy to the speed, I think he might run a bit of a cheeky race based on that Griffin form.
Yeah, you're right. He's got a fair rating as he comes. He's put on 11 pounds, so he's put on a bit of condition over the off-season, which is probably not bad for a Griffin.
All right, Grant van Niekerk, another good ride for him. A few lightly raced horses here as well. One of them, Money Marshall. Let's hear from his trainer, Michael Friedman.
Michael, you've got Money Marshall running on the weekend. He had 3 starts last season. He's trial. He won that trial. Are you happy with him going into Sunday?
Yeah, he's a horse that's taken a little while to sort of develop a bit mentally more than anything. His first couple of runs he didn't really know much, and then I thought his last start at Happy Valley late last season was quite good. And his trial here the other day was good. I think he's probably going to be better over 14 and maybe even 1600 later on. But he's ready to go. He's drawn a little bit awkward. But, yeah, I think he's a progressive type.
You mentioned that awkward draw. We saw him go forward in the barrier trial. Where do you think he'll be in the run from that gate?
Oh, I'll probably leave that up to Dougie a little bit and work out where the pace in the race is. I'd like to try and sort of ride him with a bit of cover if possible. I don't think he's the type of horse that would be sort of suited by trying to lead up over 1200. As I said, I think eventually he'll be looking for a bit further. So if he could just find a spot sort of midfield or a touch better with some cover, that'd be ideal.
This is your second season coming up here in Hong Kong. How are you feeling about it all leading into Sunday?
Yeah, it's a bit more familiar this time around, obviously. Last year was a steep learning curve. But yeah, we've got a small but nice team of horses that I think some of them are sort of well rated now. So yeah, we're going to sort of try and get a few up and running a bit earlier this season and see how we go.
Well, that horse there, Fortune Boo, the run next Wednesday night, Happy Valley, a really good race. I'm looking forward to that. But we've still got more horses to look at here for race 5. King Opie being one of them. Again, just the 3 starts to his name, but runner-up on his final start at the back end of last year.
Very interested to see how Frankie Law does. Of course, had an amazing debut season as a trainer here in Hong Kong. He's only got, I think, 3 or 4 runners there on the first day, and I think, 75% of them have got a winning chance. This is one of them. He showed some form at the end of last season.
Yeah, he's dropped 26 pounds, and I really like that trial as well, so I think he'll run a big race. And Zach Purden is aboard as well, so there's a few positives there. The
barrier looks tricky from 9, though, couldn't it, potentially?
Hearing Michael Freedman mention Money Marshall will probably drop back and look for cover, I think helps King Opie.
OK. Harbour Century, touched on him, Paul, with the trainer change?
Yeah, no, Tony Millard, he's got his horses up running nice and early this season. We've seen a lot of the trials, as you mentioned earlier on, Andrew. He was just pushed out a little bit towards the end of the back of this trial, but another horse that responded very well. And I think Tony's got this horse going well as well. So I think he'll run a good race. I've got him in there for second.
If he can get a good spot with cover, he's definitely a chance of closing in, I would have thought, and being right in the finish. All
right, King Opie's come up pretty short here. I thought the race was quite trappy.
Yeah, I've got him on top, though. I think he's a horse that's quite progressive. He's only had the 3 starts. He's dropped that weight, and he's trialled really well. So I think he'll be OK in the run. I think he should be able to slot in. So I've got him on top to beat Harbour Century of the stable change. Wouldn't be surprised if he won either. He's going nicely. I'm going to give Peace and Prosperity a chance. I thought he might pay a bit more. He's come up about a $10 chance at this stage. But he's changed the stables. Jimmy Ting's got him. And All You Need's another one that I think can run well under the big weight. As we said, he's run well under those weights before. 4-11, 7-1. And I've gone the QQP 4-7-11.
I agree with both of you here. I think King Opie's a nice horse going forward, as Paul's mentioned, and may have a class factor on them. But at the same time, I agree, $2.50 could be a little bit skinny because there's a lot of horses that could be vying for an early spot here. And if he's drawn 9 and he can't get in or he gets pressured too much, he is a young horse. He may be vulnerable to mistakes, over racing, etc. So the price is probably a little bit skinny for me. Harbour Century, I think, potentially could just sit in with some cover, close well off the back of a nice trial. Romantic Bonanza, I'm going to make him the long shot because he was a nice Griffin, had excuses at his last start, unacceptable, pulled up with a cut leg in that race behind Speed Vision, who runs later on in the day. I'd like to see him not congested because I think he doesn't react to that too well. And All You Need's just solid. If he drops in, gets some cover, he can sit 3 deep, he'll still run well, could even potentially win it if everything goes right. So 4, 11, 2 and 1. Good race again.
It is, yeah. King Opie probably most likely winner for me, but Flying Lover, I'll give me in each way a shout. Again, with Victor Wong in the saddle. All right, that's race number 5, first leg of the 6 up. So we've got the 6th coming up next. I'll be right after this.